I am going to just ask you to, at this point, please welcome our past district director, our webmaster, our technical guru, and my friend, Glenn Walker, as he leads us through the next session on our agenda. And I will pass things to Glenn. Are you ready to go, Glenn?
I am ready to go. Thank you very much, Rena.
Thank you, everybody.
I know that when I started with District 99, District 99 formed a few years ago, and I was the club growth director the first year. And one of the things I tried to do was do things a little bit differently. And so we've tried to shake things up a bit with the services that we have. And so today you're going to see that we have a lot of resources available for you. And every year we try to introduce something different that hopefully will make your life a little bit better. We acknowledge that technology can be something that is very daunting for people, but I think, as Rena pointed out, always remember that you have resources, you have people you can talk to. You can always reach out to myself, to the district team. I'm the one person that Rena left off her list of people you can always reach out to, and I make that offer as well, that you can reach out to me at any time if you're having problems with technology issues. I'm always willing to sit down with you and help you out. So today we're going to get into what are some of the resources that are available to you as a member of the district team. So we're going to talk about how you get access to the information we have. We're going to talk a little bit about email support. Rena's already talked about reply all. I have my own theory on that. Just don't ever always use BCC. It is your best friend. When you send emails out to somebody and you want to disable the ability for them to reply all, BCC is your best friend. If you don't know what that is, we can talk about that later. We're going to talk about the public website, so what's out there for information that we are giving to the public in terms of our membership, our public membership. We have a private portal website which you will be able to access and has all kinds of information that you will find useful. That you can resources and all kinds of past information. All the minutes from our district council meetings are stored there. All of the there's pictures there, there's videos there. Some of these things are all stored up there. We also have a tool that is new this year and hasn't been available for area directors to use, but because of some of the changes in the way Microsoft does things, we're able to allow area directors to actually use Microsoft Teams to interact with each other, to interact with their division director, and with the rest of the district team. So you'll be able to, we'll talk about that a little bit. And Zoom, as you see today, we have Zoom, which we'll talk about what that's being used for. And then the last section I'll talk about is how you get help. How do you reach out? So first of all, getting access. There's a prerequisite to getting access to District 99 services, and I've talked to a few of you about this, and you've done it successfully. I'm pleasantly surprised that everybody just jumped right on that and got into it. But the first thing you need for getting access is you need an account. You need a username and a password. So for the district management team, so that means all of the district director, PQD, GGD, AM, FM, PRM, the immediate past district director, and the webmaster, and the division directors, they all have an account that I've given to them that is their first last name at d99tm.org. And I provide them with a password, and that part gets managed by the district. For area directors, we're asking you to get a Microsoft account. And you might ask, what is a Microsoft account? We'll talk about that briefly. But it is an account that is essentially associated with an email address that you want to use for Toastmasters business. And so what I'm suggesting to you is that it might be a good idea for you to get an email address, and many of you have done this that I've contacted already. You've got an email address that is specific to what you're doing with Toastmasters, so you can kind of segregate that traffic off. A Microsoft account, first of all, it's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And it's an account that Microsoft provides. It is essentially an account that Microsoft at its core uses for access to its services. So if you currently have a Windows 10 machine and you've signed up for an account, a Microsoft account through that, you could use that account if you wanted to. That would be fine. You can use an existing email address, but I would caution you that your work email address often won't work. And there's technical reasons why that's the case, but don't be surprised if your work email doesn't work. one suggestion that we have is that you could create a @outlook.com email address to use for district business. For example, just for testing things out, and I'll show you today, I'm using this account, I created a walker.arglen.d99@outlook.com. And that's the account that I use for testing and logging into various different services. The side effect of that is because I created that account now has an email box available to it. It has a place to store files. It has a few other things that you can do as well. So that those services are kind of nice to have to use for your purposes throughout the year. So creating a Microsoft account is easy. I put the link here. We'll share these slides out so make sure you have them, but you go to account.microsoft.com and you'll see that from the example web page that I've got here, they essentially walk you through the process. So you can create a new Microsoft account by clicking on create a new Microsoft account, and it will give you the option of either using your existing email address if you want to, or creating a new one. So that's the first step. You need to have that account because everything that we do from this point forward in terms of accessing the various resources uses that account. Email support. How do we communicate with each other? Now, you've been getting emails, but right now that's been kind of crudely slapped together email lists. We're a little bit more organized than that. We actually have it organized reasonably well. So from an email support perspective, the district management team, and again, that's the top officers, including division directors, we have actually provided them with a license that includes a mailbox, calendaring, storage for files, and other services. So those people get that as part of their position. For area directors, we set up an alias that would allow email to be forwarded to you. So you don't have to hand out a private email address, and in fact, it's probably better if you don't, because then you train the executives to always send the email to area. For example, if you're Area 1 Director, area1@d99tm.org. That's an address that can be given to the clubs and will work forever because we're always going to have those aliases set up. And what will happen is when somebody sends an email to that, it will automatically be redirected to the email address that you've given us, which will be that Microsoft account, and we'll make sure that that email gets forwarded on to you. And that's as simple as it is. So we're trying to make sure that we genericize as much as possible the email addresses, and I think on the district site, I haven't checked yet, but they will also have them all listed there, all the area director names with these email addresses. And that's kind of a nice feature in that if you want to make yourself a little business card or something, you can put that on there as opposed to putting on a specific email address. It makes it a little bit easier. But that's essentially the email support that we provide, is that we have a bunch of mailing lists and redirections that make sure that email gets to where it's supposed to go. Now let's get into some of the websites that are available for you and for the general membership. So first of all, many of you have probably experienced the public website for District 99, which is d99tm.org. This is accessible to all members throughout the district, and it includes content on news articles. You'll see that if you look at the site right now, you'll see that it actually has pictures of our executive on there. It has recognition articles, it's got information of interest, and it's got a calendar of events that are coming up. So whenever there's a training event or specific conferences, all of those types of events, those get listed on that public website so that people can actually see those events very easily. There's lists on there as well. Like we have things like a Sunshine Club list. We had a list of online clubs, so clubs that were meeting online so that we could help people to find clubs during the pandemic. And so all of this information is up there and publicly available. So it's available to all our members, plus it's available to the general public if they want to look at it as well. So d99tm.org is something, if you can't remember anything else, remember d99tm.org because it's a jumping point to get to most other things. Now, the site that you're going to do a lot of perusing, hopefully, and find things that you need is the portal website, and that's at portal.d99tm.org. And this site is a place for just the district team. And it's a place for storing files and sharing information with each other so that you can actually collaborate on a number of different things. You'll find documents there. You'll find a calendar, which is very much the same as the calendar that's on the public site, except it's internal, so it might have some events that the public doesn't need to know about, like our all leader calls, etc. Those things will be listed in that calendar. Videos, pictures, lists, you'll see all kinds of information there, and we'll take a look at it quickly here. I'll do a demonstration of it. So I'll flip over quickly and just kind of show you. And let's go to the portal. So the portal is here, and if you go to portal.d99tm.org, it will take you to this page. It'll ask you to log in, and this is where you'll need to use your Microsoft account, because for area directors, for the upper officers, you would use your d99tm.org account, and you would be directed to this site. And in here, you'll see that on the home page for it, there's a bunch of information. You can see people are interacting here and talking to each other. There's links to things like the how-to articles on our support team site. There's announcements. There's a calendar. So if I click on calendar, for example, you'll see that here comes the calendar that has a number of different items in it. If I click on documents, you'll see that there's a list of documents. So you just go in here and look, and you'll find all kinds of resources. For example, if you go into the how-to section, you might say, how to get a Microsoft account. Oh, look at that. There's the instructions for how to get a Microsoft account. I can click on it and open it and read through the directions that are there, and it has pictures to actually help you out. So there's all kinds of resources up here that you can use. You'll find up here as well, we'll have things like documents that we want to share with you that we don't want you to be able to modify, so we'll put them in this read-only section. For example, this would be the place where you would go and find the club officer training stats, and you'll see those are listed here. We've got, as I said, we've got some pictures. So if you go in here and look under pictures, you might see, for example, here's going to probably be some headshots of past directors and current directors, all the different pictures of people. So there's lots of different information up here that you can use, and videos as well. There's some training videos up here that you might find handy. So that's the portal website. And so I would encourage you that once you get your access, go in, log in. We'll endeavor to try and keep this information as current and relevant as possible. I'll be working with the district executive to make sure that we put current information up here. Some of the things you'll see on here, like for example, this report, this breakdown, are interactive. So if I click on it, you'll see that it actually filters the information on the other side. So that's the kind of stuff that you can do and just find out information about your clubs in your areas. And that's the portal. You'll see along the top here, there's a bunch of headers, and that's because each of these different areas, like for example, the conferences have their own little site that they can work in and work on stuff, so that they don't have to share and bore us with all the minutia around planning a conference. They can actually have private conversations and share documents themselves. Past district directors have a place to do that as well. So along the top, you'll find are just separate sites for different purposes. On the left-hand side are all the things within this one that you can actually look at. I mentioned lists, that was another one. So if you look in here, for example, here's the list of online clubs. Every time everybody filled out that form, we added it here, and then the administration manager took this information and reconciled it and put it onto the actual public website. All right, so that was a quick tour of the District 99 portal. Again, this is something where you'll have a lot of opportunity to go in here and find information, and I'm sure the district executive will point you to documents, etc. on this site as well. All right. Now we get to Microsoft Teams, and this is an area where I want to spend some time because it's brand new, so I'm hoping people will get into using it. Microsoft Teams is a hub for communication, so people can use it to communicate and talk to each other, have impromptu chats back and forth. And really, if you think about it, it's one way to get away from using email as much. You can actually send people a quick instant message if you just have a quick question. You can, rather than sending an email, going through that whole process, this is a very simple way to do that. This is also a facility for hosting meetings. So division directors, for example, have licensing to be able to set up meetings. If you want to have a meeting with your area directors, very simple to set up your meeting, invite all your area directors and have them attend a meeting, an interactive meeting, video conferencing, all of the features that you would want. Collaboration tools, you can share files with each other. You can do all kinds of fun stuff around that. There's lots of little widgets that you can play with, which you'll get into as you get into using it. But And it also has some quick links to get you to some of the other areas. So that's the other part. So we're trying to set it up to be kind of a central hub that if you use this, then you can get to all the other places easily. We would recommend that you get started by downloading it and installing the actual application. So Microsoft Teams is available for download. You can put it on your desktop, you can put it on a smartphone, you can put it on a tablet. All of those are possible. And everything that you do in Microsoft Teams follows you to all those various different platforms. Very simple to get. You just teams.microsoft.com/download and you'll get to this page, and you'll see here it has a button for download for desktop and download for mobile, and it will give you instructions on how to actually download the software. Logging in is pretty simple. So again, it goes back to that Microsoft account that we asked you to get. You need to use that account. If you're a district officer, so area or division director and above, you would actually use your first last name at d99tm.org to log in here, and the password that you use with that account. For area directors, you'll enter your Microsoft account as your login name and password. And so you'll enter that in. The system will log you in, and one of the things it might do, for example, is you could be a member of teams with multiple organizations. So if you are, it will actually present you a list. So when you're doing District 99 work, you want to be on the District 99 Toastmasters guest list as the team that you want to log into. And once you're fully logged in, you should see a window that basically shows you some of the teams that you belong to and a bunch of information about what's been going on in those teams. Right now it's kind of boring because it's just me adding people into the teams. But as people start to talk about stuff and share information, you'll see more and more stuff there. You'll notice that when you log in for area directors, your first login, you'll see you're a member of a team called District 99, which is just a catch-all group for everybody. You'll be in a team called District 99 Leaders, which is essentially everyone who's working to make the district successful. So this would include all of the district officers, area directors, division directors, and up. It would also include any assistants and myself, any other helpers that are out there that are on committees are also members of this group. And this group, anybody who's in this group also has access to the portal that we just talked about previously. There's a district executive committee. This is just the people who are part of the district executive committee, which Rena will talk about at some point in terms of the membership, but it is essentially area directors and up. Anybody who has a vote on matters at the district level. So that's that group you'll be a member of, so information might be shared in there pertaining to those meetings. And then you'll have a team for your division. So I put an X in there, but it will be division A, B, C, D, E, F team. This is your specific division, and it's a place for you to interact, division directors. You can interact with your area directors, have discussions related to matters within your division, and not have to then have that information flowing out to everybody all the time. So a lot of Microsoft Teams is just deciding where you're going to have the conversation, figure out the scope of where you want that information to go to, and then have that conversation within the team that you is appropriate. There are other teams out there that you won't see, but they're there to facilitate collaboration for specific groups. For example, the spring conference will have a team that they'll be able to do discussions and talk about information related to the conferences. So I'll do a quick demo. This is where I'll do a little bit of interaction here. So I'm going to show what it would look like if well actually here, maybe what I'll do is I will actually go to the download page and just kind of show you what would happen. It's going to ask me if I want to switch to English, Canada English. I'm going to say download for desktop. And here you'll see it gives me a button. If I'm doing it for a mobile, if I want to do it on my phone, it will actually ask me for an email address, and it's going to send me a link that's appropriate for me to click on my phone that would help me to open that. But I'm just going to say download it onto my desktop. You'll see down in the corner here, I'm downloading. As soon as it's available, I will click on open file once it's there. Yeah, open file. And you will see my cursor spinning because it's actually doing something. I'm sure many of you are sitting there thinking the same thing as I am. Why are computers never faster than, they're always slower when you're waiting for them. At least they seem slower. Oops, I just have to grab. So here's the window that came up for me. So now it's asking me for my sign in. So I'm going to put in my little test account that I talked about that I created earlier. So there's my test account. And it's going to come up and ask me for a password. So it's asking for my password for that Microsoft account. Everybody close your eyes. You can open them again. Now this is a step, this is a choice you have. On my Microsoft account, I actually have it set up so that it sends a message to my phone to make sure that nobody's logging into it. If you want to know how to set that up, I can actually help you with that. I just have to go in and say, okay, yes, it's really me. And then it will continue logging in. All right, so there it's come in and it's come up with, now because this account actually has multiple teams that it's part of, I've created a couple. I'm going to do the one District 99 Toastmasters guest and then click on continue. It will take it a few seconds, just let it do its thing. And now you are in teams. And you'll notice here, if you look along the left-hand side, I'm a member of several teams. So District 99 Toastmasters being the catch-all, there's over 187 people that are a member of this team. So that's just kind of everybody. So that one you probably won't post a lot of stuff to often. District 99 Leaders is the one that has everyone. You'll see here that I just added Crystal Douglas to this team recently. So this is a place where people can actually chat with each other. So I, for example, could go in here and say @Crystal. And that's one of the neat things is it's a lot like Facebook in that way. You can actually reference somebody. I can say, welcome to the team. And she will actually get a notification that I've actually mentioned her in some sort of post. The purpose of this team chat area is that it's a public chat with the group of people that are in that team. So District 99 Leaders includes everybody who's involved in the district operations. That includes area directors, division directors, and above. It includes all of the assistants. It includes anybody who's working on anything, conference members, all those people. So anybody that might be attending that all leader call, for example, would be in this group and able to do stuff in here. You'll notice that I haven't added this account to a division, but I was playing with just a group for an area. You wouldn't necessarily have that. So now once I'm in here, that gives me the ability, I can go in here and do information. For example, if I want to share stuff, I can share information. If I find a really cool website or a resource, I can share it in here so that everybody can find it. So if I just, as an example, I'll go over to my website. Say, for example, I found this really exciting website called toastmasters.org, and I wanted to share that with everybody. I could go in here and just paste that in here, and you'll see that it actually puts it in there, shares it with everybody. People can talk to me about it and say, this is really cool. So when there's information of general purpose that people want to share with each other, this is a good place to do it and have a conversation. It avoids that reply all and those endless email chains. You can actually have your conversation in here and share and chat with each other. Now, one of the neater features that you'll probably find cool is that you can go in here in the chat window. So along the left-hand side, you'll see there's some icons here, chat being one of them. You can go in here and you'll notice here, for example, I had chatted with Rena previously. So I can say, hi, Rena. How is it going? I need to ask you a question. And if Rena was actually monitoring her thing, which she might be, you may actually see her respond and say, I'm doing great, and perhaps maybe be able to answer my question. One of the other things that she can do is, if she wants to, she could actually initiate, and you could do this too, is initiate a video chat with her and be able to talk with her directly. Oh, there you go. Rena is actually typing. This is real live interactive session here. So you actually get to see Rena respond. I'm well, thanks for presenting. There you go. If I wanted to with Rena, I could actually spawn a video call or a voice call, or I could share my screen with her. So if there was something I wanted to show her and ask her a question about something that I was doing, I could do that very simply from my desktop. Now, this is available to everybody who's got access to Teams. So that means area directors, if you want to get on here and chat with each other and share screens with each other, or have video chats or calls, or ask your division director a question, you can do that. That is all possible in here now with Teams as the way it's set up. So that is something that I'm hoping you'll take advantage of. We typically use Teams for a lot of the calls in the past. I don't know if the gist will be to continue doing that or start using Zoom for more of these calls, but I would encourage we use this as much as possible so that everybody gets used to using it and sort of interacting with each other. So division directors, this is available to you. You can have your meetings. Oh, we are being asked if members can use a former Microsoft account. Can they use that? Yes, you can use any account you want that's a Microsoft account. You just have to tell me what it is, and I will invite you to have access. That's the key, is I need to know what your Microsoft account is so I can actually invite you and get you set up with all the correct addresses, etc., and get you added to the correct teams. That's the only requirement. And it's very simple when you get in here. For example, if I go in and I want to do a chat with somebody else, like maybe I want to talk with Doughton, I can go in here and type in Doughton's name. I can also go in here and say, well, you know what, I want to talk to Doughton and I want to talk to Rena. I can add both names in here, and then when I send the message and say, hey, they both get it. And then they both have the opportunity to chat back and forth with me and talk to me, right? So you can, it gives you flexibility. If you want to set up a chat with a number of different people, you can do that. Oh, Doughton's going to answer back now. I'm in the middle of a presentation. So that's all possible. Okay. The Teams part, as I said before, it's here. Now, what you might find is underneath each of these teams, there are these words called, which we refer to as channels. And so, for example, if somebody wants to add another channel because maybe there's some specific topic they want to talk about. So let's say, for example, on the D99 leaders, we wanted to add, well, I can't because this account can't, but they might add another channel for recognition, and that would be a place to discuss recognition, right? So again, it's up to the people that own these teams to decide what the topic areas will be. And as we work with this, we'll start to flesh it out and add more channels for specific topics. But anyway, that's Microsoft Teams very quickly. We'll do some more training on this, but I would encourage you to get logged in, start interacting with each other, start using it to kind of chat back and forth. I really encourage you, if as a division team, if you have the app installed on your phone, then it makes it very simple for you to chat back and forth between division directors and area directors. And if you want to pop a message off to me, I'm on Teams all the time, so it's a very simple way to get in touch with me versus sending me an email as well. A great environment. The other thing that, for example, teams have, you'll notice here, and I'll just go back and point out some of the features. So the District 99 Leaders team, for example, there'll be a place here where if there's any files we think are important, we can share files with you. But the other thing you'll see here is that, for example, there's quick links. So along the top here, you'll see there's quick links for various things. So I just clicked on portal, and that took me to the portal.d99tm.org without having to go into a web browser. That's kind of cool. I can click on public and it'll take me to the d99tm.org site. And if I want to go to the Toastmasters International site, I just click on International and it very quickly takes me there as well. So it just gives you one place to log in and kind of, as I said, Teams is kind of that central hub that gives you a jumping point for everything you want to get to. If you decide you are having difficulty working with it in here, any of these sites that have come up, you can also notice that over here there's a little globe on the side. You can always click on that and it'll jump you into your web browser in that site. Okay. So I expect this will be probably a bit overwhelming for people, but I think as you start using it, you'll start to see the utility of it, that you'll see the ability to actually interact and chat with each other and have impromptu meetings, share screens, do all that fun stuff will be very useful to you. If any area directors are interested, it is possible to set up your own team site. So for example, up here when I logged in, it asked me to choose between these two. I've actually set up a sample one where I'll switch over to quickly, where I've actually set up one that could be, if I was an area director, I could set it up and I could invite all the club officers from the clubs in my area to it, and then we could do the same kind of interaction and have meetings and do all that fun stuff too. But that's not something I'll cover today, but if you're curious, I will gladly sit down with you and show you how to do that as well. All right, so that is Teams, very quickly and very quick introduction to it. Zoom is the other tool that we have available. So district, we have a Zoom account, and it's for use for district sponsored meetings. And I know when it first came out, there was some confusion because some emails went out that shouldn't have, but it's for use for things like district council meeting, where we have a large number of participants. One of the limitations that Microsoft Teams has is that you can only have 250 people attend the meeting, maximum of 250 people. That, believe it or not, is limiting for the district because there are over 300 possible voting delegates that could attend the meeting. So if you have that limit of 250 on there, there is the potential, hasn't happened yet, but there is the potential that you could be limiting someone's right to actually access the meeting and participate. So Zoom is something that International signed up for a enterprise level license, and they've given every district the opportunity to procure a license through them that gives them the ability to have a meeting with up to 500 people in it. So it has the ability to do that. So we're using it for things like district council meeting, club officer training, which again, as Rena pointed out, we had a rather large turnout, over 250 people at that event. And then it has the ability to create breakout sessions, which you'll experience this afternoon. So that's going to be something that you'll see this afternoon. But again, it's not available for general use for other purposes. It's specifically meant and licensed to the district to use for district purposes. The last thing that I'll get onto, and then I'll probably hand it back. I think I'm getting close to my time. I might have some time left for questions. Getting help. A lot of this stuff can be overwhelming, and I know a lot of you people are not technology people like I am, so you sometimes might find this a bit overwhelming and difficult to work with. Do not hesitate to reach out. So you can always send me a message, either email me at support@d99tm.org or send an instant message to me directly. If you manage to get into Teams and you want to send me an instant message, that's possible as well. But on this other side, remember, we're all volunteers, so it may take time to get to your request process. So sometimes it might take me a day or two to actually react to your request. I'll try to do it as quickly as possible, and sometimes if it's small, I can actually do that very quickly. In case of emergency, if there's just something going on and it's an emergency, you can always call me. 780-964-3808 is my cell phone number. You can reach me there. Please, no emergencies after midnight on most nights. That's the one thing I would ask. Although that could happen, you might have an emergency at 2 in the morning, but please resist the urge. But yeah, don't hesitate. As Rena has said, for any questions you have about district level matters, get in touch with her. If you got any questions about technology, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'm here to help you, to facilitate, to make sure that your usage of the platforms goes as smoothly as possible. Okay. All right, so that's kind of what the material I had to cover. Were there any questions that came out, Rena, during the session that I should go back and cover?
We had one question, Glenn, about doing this on Apple products, but I responded like I have Teams, referring to Teams, sorry.
Yep.
I have Teams on both my iPad and my iPhone, and I am the least technology person, most likely in all of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and I was able to do it. So I'm sure that people will not have issues with it. One thing that I know is I personally find it hard to navigate the portal on my Apple devices compared to on my Windows. So that's
one other thing that I didn't cover off in here, and I'll maybe just mention here too, is that the portal and a lot of the other things that we do with the district, they tend not to work well if you're using the default browser on your Apple product, Safari, doesn't work that well. If you have Microsoft Chrome installed, it will work better. Same thing on your Windows desktop. If you're trying to use Firefox, I know some people love Firefox and think it's the greatest thing in the world. It has issues. It doesn't support all of the things that we want to do as well as we want. So Chrome is definitely one of the recommended browsers. Microsoft Edge, the new Microsoft Edge is actually just Chrome with different lipstick on it. So it works exactly the same. Microsoft has capitulated and given up. They've stopped trying to build their own browser. They're actually using the Microsoft or the Chrome code as the base for their new browser. So that's what I was actually showing you today when I did it. That's why if it looked a lot like Chrome for all the Chrome users out there, it's because it basically is.
And I just want to reiterate too, Glenn, that I personally, and I'm, again, not technological at all, but I'm certainly finding that the more I use Teams, the more I'm finding it a great way to go with things. Talking about the overwhelming number of emails and whatever, like discussions between myself, Doughton, and Richard in Teams, just I find it so much easier to deal with than whether it be a text message or a email thread. So I really do encourage people, and certainly Glenn is the guru of all this, and he will walk you through things. So if you're struggling with using Teams or installing Teams, please do reach out to him, not all at once, and be cognizant of his time, but that it is a really good way to go. So, and I'm the person who says, not one more app, please, but in reality, this is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. I think it looks boring right now because this is brand new. We haven't done a lot of stuff, but as you start doing conversations and being able to interact with each other, I think it's kind of cool. You'll notice here now, I just have it up on the screen. You'll notice there's a thumb there beside my message that I said we're welcome to the team, Crystal. And so that's another thing. It's just like Facebook to a certain extent. You get to like comments, you get to reply to them, you get to do all kinds of stuff. So you'll see here that Crystal has actually thumbed up my comment and said that's really great. So there's all of that ability to interact with each other and just sort of share information.
Right. And similar to Facebook or any of those things, when you have someone who's contacted you or anything, it shows a little notification icon right on the icon, whether on my phone or my iPad or on my laptop as well.
Yep. Yeah, very interactive, very easy, and and you'll see that you'll get notifications popping up once in a while, which is something you can set. I've got Crystal reacting. Oh, look, she loves my link to. She just did that. She just loved my link to Toastmasters International. But again, so that's the kind of stuff. It's very interactive. You can sort of see what's going on as it goes on. And as I said, don't hesitate to reach out. There's always the opportunity to learn. I've got documents that basically walk you through step by step some of this stuff, and I can point you to either interactive videos or little cheat sheets that will help you with using the tools so that you can be successful using it if you.
Yeah.
Over to you, Raina.
Okay, any other questions for Glenn, anyone? Believe it or not, we're running a little ahead of schedule. Good for us. I do want to mention one thing, and that is if as an area director or division director, you have not yet submitted your district leadership release statement to me, please do so as soon as possible. I have sent the link to everyone that I do not yet have them, I believe. If you don't have it and have not submitted it to us, please, you can just send me a note, even in the chat here, and I will email it off to you immediately, because we need those in order for you to be registered as a part of our team with Toastmasters International. So I would ask that you do that.
And I'll remind you too that I will be reaching out to anybody I haven't. I've done some of the area directors already, but I'll reaching out to the rest. to ask you what account you want to use for your Microsoft account. A few people have actually gone the route of setting up an account specifically for use for their Toastmasters business, and that's great. That's good. So once you've got that set up, I need to find out what it is, and then I can invite you to participate and set up all the email aliases and do all that stuff. So there's work on my end that I have to do, but I need you to do some work first.
Right.
To let me know what that email address is, so that I can, and it doesn't have to be the email address that you gave Rena when you signed up for the to be an area director. It could be any email address you want, right?
The only caution I put on that, and I agree completely, Glenn, with that, but don't forget that then you need to access that email, right?
Yep.
Because that's where everything that we send out is going to go. I've had people say over our term last year, well, I never got reminders of this. And I was like, really? Did you look here? And then they realized that, yes, the emails that came out reminding of all leader calls or whatever were going there, and they weren't looking at that email. So it needs to be, I on my iPhone have an iCloud account, my SaskTel account, and an Exchange account, which is where all of my, or 99% of my Toastmasters information goes to. So I just know that I have to go there and check that as often as I check everything else. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's another thing that if you need help with that, you can always have, I personally have like 5 different email accounts that I'm monitoring on my phone. So I get an email from 5 different places. As long as you put it all in one place, it's easy to keep track of it.
Right. I agree.